a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Alex Jones. Alexander M. Jones is an American radio show host and conspiracy theorist. He hosts The Alex Jones Show from Austin, Texas, which airs on the Genesis Communications Network across the United States and online. Jones runs a website, Infowars.com, devoted to conspiracy theories and fake news, and the websites News Wars and Prison Planet. Jones has been the center of many controversies, including his promotion of Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting conspiracy theories, and his aggressive opposition to gun control in a debate with Piers Morgan. He has accused the U.S. government of planning the Oklahoma City bombing, the September 11th attacks, and of claims that the moon landing footage was fake. He has claimed that several governments and big business have colluded to create a new world order through manufactured economic crises, sophisticated surveillance tech and, above all, inside job terror attacks that fuel exploitable hysteria. Jones has described himself as a conservative, paleoconservative and libertarian, terms he uses interchangeably. Others describe him as conservative, right-wing, alt-right, and far-right. New York described Jones as America's leading conspiracy theorist, and the Southern Poverty Law Center describes him as the most prolific conspiracy theorist in contemporary America. Asked about such labels, Jones said he is proud to be listed as a thought criminal against Big Brother. Early life. Jones was born in 1974 in Dallas, Texas, and grew up in the Dallas suburb of Rockwall and the city of Austin, Texas. His father is a dentist and his mother a homemaker. In his video podcasts, he reports he is of Irish, German, Welsh, mostly English, and partially Native American descent. He was a lineman on his high school's football team and graduated from Anderson High School in Austin in 1993. As a teenager, he read conservative journalist and conspiracy theorist Gary Allen's anti-Semitic book None Dare Call It Conspiracy, which had a profound influence on him, and which he calls the easiest to read primer on the New World Order. After high school, Jones briefly attended Austin Community College, but dropped out. Career. Jones began his career in Austin with a live, call-in format public access cable television program. In 1996, Jones switched format to radio, hosting a show named The Final Edition on KJFK. Ron Paul was running for Congress and was a guest on his show several times. When the Oklahoma City bombing happened in 1995, Jones began accusing the government of being responsible, saying, "I understood Terry's a kleptocracy working with psychopathic governments, clutches of evil that know the tricks of control." In 1998, he released his first film, America Destroyed by Design. In 1998, Jones organized a successful effort to build a new Branch Davidian church as a memorial to those who died during the 1993 fire that ended the government's siege of the original Branch Davidian complex near Waco, Texas. He often featured the project on his public access television program and claimed that David Koresh and his followers were peaceful people who were murdered by Attorney General Janet Reno and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms during the siege. In the same year, he was removed from the George W. Bush rally at Bayport Industrial District, Texas. Jones interrupted Governor Bush's speech, demanding that the Federal Reserve and Council on Foreign Relations be abolished. Journalist David Weigel, reporting on the incident, said Jones seemed to launch into public events as if flung from another universe. In 1999, Jones tied with Shannon Burke for that year's Best Austin Talk Radio Host poll, as voted by the Austin Chronicle readers. Later that year, he was fired from KJFK-FM for refusing to broaden his topics. His views were making the show hard to sell to advertisers, according to the station's operations manager. Jones stated, "It was purely political, and it came down from on high. I was told 11 weeks ago to lay off Bill Clinton, to lay off all these politicians, to not talk about rebuilding the church, to stop bashing the Marines, A to Z." He began broadcasting his show by internet connection from his home. In early 2000, Jones was one of 7 Republican candidates for state representative in Texas House District 48, an open swing district based in Austin, Texas. Jones stated that he was running to be a watchdog on the inside, but withdrew from the race after a couple of weeks. In July, a group of Austin Community Access Center programmers claimed that Jones used legal proceedings and a CAC policy to intimidate them or get their shows thrown off the air. On July 15, 2000, Jones infiltrated the cremation of care, which he called a ritualistic shedding of conscience and empathy, and an abuse of power. In 2001, his show was syndicated on approximately 100 stations. After the 9/11 attack, Jones began to speak of a conspiracy by the Bush administration as being behind the attack, which caused a number of the stations that had previously carried him to drop his program, according to Will Bunch. On June 8, 2006, while on his way to cover a meeting of the Bilderberg Group in Ottawa, Jones was stopped and detained at the Ottawa airport by Canadian authorities who confiscated his passport, camera equipment, and most of his belongings. He was later allowed to enter Canada lawfully. Jones said about the reason for his immigration hold, "I want to say, on the record, it takes 2 to tango. I could have handled it better." On September 8, 2007, he was arrested while protesting at 6th Avenue and 48th Street in New York City. He was charged with operating a megaphone without a permit. 2 others were also cited for disorderly conduct when his group crashed a live television show featuring Geraldo Rivera. In an article, one of Jones's fellow protesters said, "It was guerrilla information warfare." On June 6, 2013, Jones addressed international media for the annual Bilderberg Conference in Watford, England. He gave an hour-long speech to around 2,000 protesters in the grounds of the Grove Hotel, where he was rapturously welcomed, surrounded by cameras and peppered with questions. On July 21, 2016, following the 2016 Republican National Convention, Jones and Roger Stone began plotting the removal of Ted Cruz from his Senate seat after he failed to endorse Donald Trump as the Republican presidential candidate, with potential challengers Katrina Pearson and Dan Patrick mooted as replacements in the upcoming Texas election for Senate in 2018. On July 6, 2017, alongside Paul Joseph Watson, Jones began hosting a contest to create the best CNN meme, in which the winner would receive $20,000. The contest was created in response to CNN releasing an article regarding a Reddit user who had created a pro-Trump, anti-CNN meme. On January 23, 2018, it was announced that Jones would be working with author Neil Strauss on his upcoming book, titled The Secret History of the Modern World and the War for the Future. Radio, websites and mail-order business. The Alex Jones Show is broadcast nationally by the Genesis Communications Network to more than 90 AM and FM radio stations in the United States, including WWCR, a shortwave radio station. The Sunday Show also airs on KLBJ. In 2010, the show attracted around 2 million listeners each week. According to journalist Will Bunch, a senior fellow at Media Matters for America, the show has a demographic heavier in younger viewers than other conservative pundits due to Jonas' highly conspiratorial tone and web-oriented approach. Bunch has also stated that Jones feeds on the deepest paranoia. According to Alexander Zaitchik of Rolling Stone magazine, in 2011 he had a larger online audience than Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh combined. Infowars and other sites. Jones is the publisher and director of the Infowars.com website. The Infowars website receives approximately 10 million monthly visits, making its reach more extensive than mainstream news websites such as The Economist and Newsweek. In August 2017, Jones announced the launch of Newswars.com, a site Jones said was intended to battle news that he considers to be fake news. Jones also operates the PrisonPlanet.com website. Consumer products. A 2017 piece for German magazine Der Spiegel by Weitmedic indicated that 2/3 of Jones's funds derive from sales of a successful range of his own products. These products are marketed through the Infowars website and through advertising spots on Jones's show. They include dietary supplements, toothpaste, bulletproof vests and brain pills, appealing to those who believes Armageddon is near, according to Medic. In August 2017, Californian medical company Labdoor Incorporated reported on tests applied to 6 of Jones's dietary supplement products. These included a product named Survival Shield, which was found by Labdoor to contain only iodine, and a product named Oxypowder, which comprised a compound of magnesium oxide and citric acid, common ingredients in dietary supplements. Labdoor indicated no evidence of prohibited or harmful substances, but cast doubt on Infowars' marketing claims for these products, and asserted that the quantity of the ingredients in certain products would be too low to be appropriately effective. On a segment of Last Week Tonight, host John Oliver stated that Jones spends nearly a quarter of his on-air time promoting products sold on his website, many of which are purported solutions to medical and economic problems claimed to be caused by the conspiracy theories described on his show. Views. Mainstream sources have described Jones as a conservative, far-right, outright, and a conspiracy theorist. Jones has described himself as a libertarian and a paleoconservative. He indicated his support for Donald Trump during the presidential campaign in 2016, also denouncing Trump's rival Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Gun rights. Jones is a vocal gun rights advocate. MTV have labelled him a staunch Second Amendment supporter, while the London Daily Telegraph called him a gun nut. He has been widely quoted in international media for claiming, in a debate with Piers Morgan, that 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Jones was referencing the American Revolutionary War in relation to theoretical gun control measures taken by the government. He has been reported to own around 50 firearms. Vaccines. Jones is well known and widely reported in media for both his opposition to vaccines and his views on vaccine controversies. On June 16, 2017, Vox covered his claim that the introduction of the Sesame Street character Julia, an autistic Muppet, was designed to normalize autism, a disorder caused by vaccines. On November 20, 2017, The New Yorker quoted Jones as claiming Infowars was defending people's right to not be forcibly infected with vaccines. Think Progress have declared that he continues to endanger children by convincing their parents that vaccines are dangerous. Jones has specifically disputed the safety and effectiveness of MMR vaccines. Weather weapons. Mother Jones has claimed that Jones is a believer in weather weapons, and Salon has covered his claim that the president has access to weather weapons capable of not only creating tornadoes, but also moving them around, on demand. His belief in weather warfare has been reported by mainstream media. He has claimed that Hurricane Irma may have been geoengineered. White genocide. Jones has promoted the white genocide conspiracy theory. Media Matters covered his claim that NFL players protesting during the national anthem were kneeling to white genocide and violence against whites, which the SPLC featured in their headlines review. On October 2, 2017, Jones claimed that Democrats and communists were plotting imminent white genocide attacks. His reporting and public views on the topic have received support and coverage from white nationalist publications and groups, such as Alt-Right.com and the New Zealand National Front. Controversies. Jones has been the center of many controversies. He has accused the United States government of being involved in the Oklahoma City bombing and the September 11 attacks, as well as claiming that 2 school shootings were false flag operations. In 2009, Jones claimed that a convicted con man's scheme to take over a long-vacant, would-be-for-profit prison in Hardin, Montana was part of a FEMA plot to detain U.S. citizens in concentration camps. Jones was in a media crossfire in 2011, which included criticism by Rush Limbaugh, when the news spread that Jared Lee Lowner, the perpetrator of the 2011 Tucson shooting, had been a fan of the 9/11 conspiracy film Loose Change, of which Jones had been an executive producer. His website Infowars.com has been described as a fake news website. and has been accused of spreading conspiracy theories. School shootings. Jones has been criticized for propagating conspiracy theories about the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting in 2012 and the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting in 2018 being false flag operations engineered by gun control advocates. In particular, he has stated that no one died in Sandy Hook and that Stoneman Douglas survivor David Hogg was a crisis actor. Claims made in support of these theories have been proven false. In March 2018, 6 families of victims of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting as well as an FBI agent who responded to the attack filed a defamation lawsuit against Jones for his role in spreading conspiracy theories about the shooting. Television interviews, 2013. In January 2013, Jones was invited to speak on Piers Morgan's show after promoting an online petition to deport Morgan because of his support of gun control laws. The interview turned into a one-person shoutfest, as Jones riffed about guns, oppressive government, the flag, his ancestors' role in Texan independence, and what flag Morgan would have on his tights if they wrestled. The event drew widespread coverage, and according to the Huffington Post, Morgan and others such as Glenn Beck agreed that Jones was a terrible spokesman for gun rights. Jonas' appearance on the show was a top trending Twitter topic the following morning. On June 9, 2013, Jones appeared as a guest on the BBC's television show Sunday Politics. During a discussion about conspiracy theories surrounding the Bilderberg Group meetings with presenter Andrew Neil and journalist David Aronovich, a critic of such theories, Aronovich implied that, since Jones had not been killed for exposing conspiracies, they either do not exist or that Jones is a part of them himself. Jones began shouting and interrupting, and Andrew Neil ended the interview, describing Jones as an idiot and the worst person I've ever interviewed. According to Neil on Twitter, Jones was still shouting until he knew that he was off air. Relationship with Donald Trump. In December 2015, Jones initially formed a bond with Donald Trump after the presidential candidate appeared on The Alex Jones Show, claiming that Jones had an amazing reputation. During the 2016 presidential campaign, Hillary Clinton criticized Trump for his ties to Jones. Jones said that Trump called him on the day after the election to thank him for his help in the campaign. Since Trump took office, it has been claimed Jones communicates with the president through aides, something which Chief of Staff John Kelly had reportedly tried to block. In June 2017, journalist and commentator Bill Moyers wrote that Trump and Jones explicitly operate as a tag team. In April 2018, Jones publicly criticized President Trump during a live stream after Trump announced a military strike against Syria. During the stream, Jones also stated that Trump had not called him during the prior 6 months. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?